Andam Ibidya Nirguna Sahasra Guru Angri Bahu Vakshaha Sahasra Anana Shirshavan Eva Purushastasmat Andam Nibidya Nirgataha Asror Vangri Bhavaksha Asrana Shirshavan Eva Purushastasmat Andam Nibidya Nirgataha Sahasror Vangri Nirgataha Sahasror Vangri Bhavaksha Sahasranam Nish Sahasranam Shivan Nam Nirvijnirgataha Sahasror Vangri Bhavaksha Sahasranana Shirshavan Saiva Purushastasma Andang Nirbidya Nirgataha Sahasravangri Bhavaksha Sahasranana Shirshavan Saeva Purushastasmad Andam Nirbidya Nigrata Sahasravangir Bhasaksha Sahasranan Srishavan Saeva Purushastasmad Andam Nirbidya Nirgataha Sahasror Vangri Bhavaksha Sahasranana Shirshavan
Seva Purushastasman Andam Nirbidya Nirgataha Sahasro Vangriba Vaksha Sahasranana Shirshavan
Seva Purushastasmat Andam Nirbidya Nirgataha Sahasror Vangri Bhavaksha Sahasranana Shirshavan Saha
He, the Lord, himself, Personality of God, Smart, Hrdgm, dividing, now, through, legs, bottom, arms, Akshara, eyes, Sahasra, thousands of mouth, Shushavan, the heads also. Translation. Although lying in the color ocean, came out of it and dividing himself as Hrdgm, he entered into each universe and assumed Rupa with thousands of legs, arms, mouths, heads, etc.
Report. The expansions of the planetary systems within each and every universe are situated in the different parts of the Virat Rupa, universal form of the Lord, and they are described as follows.
So we see how the Lord, simply by his will, he expands. Although he's one, he's expanded to many, unlimited. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Ajam Purana Purusham Navayovanamcha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So he's one. There's only one God. Otherwise, you have to say there's many gods. But there's not many gods. There's one God. But that one God expands unlimitedly. And it does so simply by his will. It seems that he doesn't have to exert himself. Parasha Shaktir, Vividaiva Shrute, Svabhaki Jnanabalakriyacha. He has unlimited potencies, energies, and they're just waiting to serve him, so to speak. Like, for example, Lord has his chakra. So he has his chakra. And his chakra is always ready to come and do service, to do his bidding. So the chakra is a person. And that he's a weapon. He manifests himself. And Lord has Garuda. Garuda is his eagle carrier. And when the need is there, he rides on Garuda's back. And if the need is there, he takes with him the Parijata trees from Indra's abode on the back of the Garuda, along with Satyavati. No, Satyabhama, one of his wives. So Garuda is poised, ready. And the Lord doesn't have to make any kind of outward signal, simply by his thought, or even more subtle than thought. It seems as though it's automatic. And so in this regard, the modern scientists could be taken as appreciating the Lord. They say there's no need for God. Everything's happening. So if we take it in a positive way, which I didn't mean it in a positive way, but sometimes devotees like to take things in a positive way, even from the. And we have one volume coming up in our. Those of you who are working on the Garga Samhita completion task or service, we have one volume called Demons Praise Krishna. Why are demons praising Krishna? Krishna is so praiseworthy. Even the demons are forced to praise him. He's just so praiseworthy. So, he's so great that even they hate him, want to kill him, but they have to admit he's great. And some of them, they even long for that, to be defeated. There's a story of Bana. Banasura is a worshiper of Shiva. So he got the benediction that he can have 1,000 arms. So he got the benediction, 1,000 arms. And he was very difficult to defeat because he was able to work 500 bows at a time. He's shooting 500 arrows at a time. It's difficult to defeat, difficult to counteract. So he became very proud, thinking that he was the greatest. And he even thought he could defeat Lord Shiva. But he got the benediction that he would meet someone who would defeat him. He was happy about that. I guess it's a kind of rasa. When we have the Vira rasa, heroes. One hero, he likes to compete against another hero. Even if he knows that he says, he'll be defeated by this person who's more powerful than you. It's all right. Let me be defeated. I want a good battle. Anyway, Banasura, he was a very great warrior, but when it came time for Krishna, Sudarshan Chakra just cut off his 1,000 arms. He didn't kill him all the way. He left him with 4 hands. He promised that no one in Prahlad Maharaj's family or heir continuation would be killed by him. He made that promise. But he defeated him. He does everything simultaneously. And so we can give the scientists credit, atheistic, that they think that God's creation is so well designed, it's so well organized that it seems as though everything is simply happening automatically, without any superintendence of any God, any person. If you ask them, you could try this. Say you don't believe there's God. No, there's no need. If just say, for example, if it were found that all these things that seem to be happening automatically were being done purposely by a person, sequentially, would you think that person was great? What would you say? Yeah, if they were willing to play your game and willing to take that supposition, generally, my experience is they say, there's no use thinking about childish games. It's not possible. There is no God. There's no such person. He said, but wouldn't it be great if generally they won't even admit that. He said, I don't play games. It's for real. The children play games and they have their little pretend this, pretend that, pretend someone's God, pretend something. No pretending. Cold, hard mathematics. Science. That runs everything. That explains everything. It explains how, not necessarily why. Why we leave to the religions, to their mythology. But how, we can explain that. How did it happen? They give their theories. Some elements were there. They interacted. They never quite get all the factors in, though. Where did those elements come from? They were supplied. Who supplied them? Well, you don't say who. We object. Don't say who supplied them. You could say what supplied them, but then we'd say the void. But isn't the void supposed to be zero, nothing? Nothing there? Yes, that's general scientific explanation for void. But in the case of the original cause, then this is the original cause of void. So we can see if we're liberal, it's hard to be liberal with them because they're not liberal really themselves. They're so stuck in their ways. They won't accept, but they should, because even if you take an example of a child is a human being like his father. But when the child is only a few days old, and you ask him some question like, can you explain physical laws? Whatever comes out of his mouth will be just baby talk. It'll be useless. But that child has great potential. He can be a big scientist. So if a person can change so much just by a little time, now with some time that child is giving all kinds of scientific discourses, then why couldn't a person do much more? then we, for example, we can do so much. We live for so long. We have so much strength. But other living entities have more. Hundreds and millions of times more. But it's difficult for them to admit that someone could have so much more that no one could ever compete. Because then they feel it's not fair. How could God exist? It wouldn't be fair that the one is the enjoyer of everything and all the others have to serve. It's not a fair arrangement. And then they criticize, they say, and most important point is, if God exists, why would there be so many mistakes? Why would there be evil? If there's evil in the world, and there's evil, there's Holocaust, there's typhoons, all kinds of evil things. People do evil things to other people. You could insert there, you say, you mean like slaughterhouses? And I said, well, something. I mean, all the evil things, God would not have manifested them. Why would he have made a world with so much evil, so much wrong, injustice? They're bent on criticizing. Even if they had to describe him, they would describe him in unpalatable words. But Goddess Saraswati, and sometimes the Vaishnava commentators, they also see other meanings in their words. And then they give the demon credit for actually praising the Lord. So we can try to see it like that. If there's no such person that could exist that could have all those qualities. The devotees become happy, blissful when they hear that. Yes, there is no other person. Only one. The one supreme person. He has all these unimaginable, inconceivable, achintya beta beta tattva. He exists as one with his creation, simultaneously, inconceivably one and different at the same time. And they'll say, you can't use that. Is that oxymoron? Can't use that term. Something. One and different at the same time. Yes, that's God. You have to accept that. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand God. Just like they say, you have to understand this to be able to understand that. Sequential order. Similarly, if you want to understand God, you have to accept that he has the ability to be simultaneously one and different at the same time. Everything. In essence, everything is God. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. It's God. But in the end, he's Param Brahma. Param Brahma. The Supreme Spirit. Chonityanam, Chaitanas Chaitananam. Ekobandam Vijidati Kama. The entities are like him, eternal. Chonityanam. Chaitanas Chaitananam. Living entities have consciousness like he has. But he's the one that maintains all of them. Without him, there's nothing else. Everything comes from him. But then he says in Bhagavad Gita Mayatamitam Charvam Jagaravyaktamurtina Stani Sarvabhutani Achaham Teshvavasita. By me in my unmanifested form, the whole universe is pervaded. But still, everything is in me, but I'm not in them. So God reserves the right to not be seen. Naham prakashya sarvasya yogamaya smavritaha mudho yam nabijanati loko mama jamavi. I am never manifest to the mudhanam, to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am always covered by my creative potency, Yogamaya. That Yogamaya, for the demons, she bewilders them. But for the devotees, she makes their life more blissful. It's like money, you could say. When money is in the enemy's hand, it's very painful to me. When the same money is in my hand, it's very pleasant. So, to the demons, he's like a thunderbolt. When he entered the Kamsa arena in Mathura, the wrestlers saw Thunderbolt has just entered. And to the young girls, they said, oh, it's Cupid has just entered. And so in different ways, he related all the different people there. He's one, but at the same time, simultaneously, he's relating with everyone. And he relates according to the desire of the living entity. He's so liberal. If you want to be his enemy, he'll let you be his enemy eternally. You can fight against him. You'll always lose. Unless you become like his devotee. Then he'll let you win. Sometimes Krishna has to carry the coward boys on his shoulder when he loses. They have a competition. And it's that competition. The penalty is they have to carry the other one on their shoulder. So Krishna has to carry someone on his shoulder. But he does that for his devotees. Happily, he carries them on his shoulder. Hamyam, he says, I carry what they lack, preserve what they have. He'll carry everything for them. Nothing is too great for the Lord to supply to his devotee, to please him. For example, Satyabhama, she had an inferiority complex because Rukmini had the Parijata flower and she didn't. And Krishna had given it to her. So first when she heard that, you won't believe it. Meaning the Parijata flower. Satyabhama, she wanted to kill herself. She asked the Lord for permission. The Lord, will you please allow me to kill myself? Why would you want to do that? He said, you told me I was your favorite wife. You told me so many times. And now you give the Parijata to Rukmini and not to me. I can't live. So Krishna's very expert. He didn't become flustered and he had to figure out this is a serious problem. Because she was serious, she wasn't joking. And how can he be happy if his favorite wife is in so much anxiety? So he had to promise her, I promise you, when I go to Indra, I'll get a whole tree for you. Parijata tree. Satisfied, she said, yes. But he brought her along the ride when he went to Indra, just so she would be able to see that he got the Parijata tree. And he did. And he had to fight with all the demigods. They all chose to fight against him because they made a coalition. But Parijata trees only stay in the heavenly planets. They're not meant for the earth. But they didn't consider that it was earth. But when Krishna was there, it was better than earth, better than heaven. Krishna wanted to show that. Therefore, he took all these things away from Indra and put them in Dwarka. Parijata is one of them. There were many things. That assembly house, what was it called? Dharma Assembly House. That's from Indraloka. Took that. Took all kinds of, to show that when Krishna comes to earth, it's not earth anymore. It's better than heaven. So this is a good lesson for Indra. And all the demigods, he said, Krishna after, that in this regard, all the demigods conspired against me, and I defeated all of them. So it should be understood that when it comes to my devotees, I will fulfill their desires. She wanted this flower. He said she wanted it, this tree. I'm giving it to her. She's my devotee. Well, that's Krishna. So if someone is so envious that he wants to never be able to understand God, then Krishna will give him that. And he can take birth again and again after in such a situation where he won't be able to understand. He'll always be bewildered. But if the one possible remedy is if they get killed by Krishna. If they become so much of a nemesis that they have to be killed by Krishna, then they get liberation. Kamsa is an example of that. He was so absorbed in killing Krishna, he was always seeing his four-headed form. He liked that form. And after being killed by Krishna, he got the form that he liked, the four-handed form of Kunta. So he looks, those who are very envious, they get to get a body, they want a body like Krishna. They get one. That doesn't mean that all the Vaikuntha Vasis are envious. I'm not saying that. They're not envious. But sometimes those who are envious, they desire, they always think of that form of him. There's an example they give of the one big insect. He's plagiarizing, he's terrorizing the smaller insects, so the smaller insects always thinking of him. And he becomes that bug in the next life. So by thinking always of Vishnu, they might get killed by Krishna, and then that's the benediction is that anyone who's killed by Krishna gets liberated. He's so great. And no one else can do that. No one else has that power. Only Mukunda. Mukunda means giver of liberation. You don't know anyone else knows Mukunda. So there's only one Mukunda, only one God. There can't be many. And he's all great. And therefore, if you, like when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was trying to understand from the Vaishnavas, because he had met Lord Chaitanya, and he was impressed by Chaitanya on a certain level. But one of his devotees was, one of Lord Chaitanya's devotees was the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Bhagavad Acharya, I think his name was, Bhagavad Acharya. So he was explaining to Sarvabhauma, but then he told him, "You're such a dry philosopher. You'll never understand." And he said, "Well, how will I ever understand that? Is it possible that if you get the mercy of the Lord, then you'll be able to understand? A little mercy of the Lord or the devotee." So that's true. Unless one is fortunate enough to get a little mercy from the devotee or from the Lord. That verse is also described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Brahmande Brahmate Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasad He Bhai Bhakti Lata Bij. If he gets the mercy of Guru and Krishna, then he's very fortunate. Then he gets the seed of devotional service. So to be able to engage in devotional service is the greatest treasure. One should not take it lightly. That if one has some service, one say, "I can do it or not do it." No, it shouldn't be taken like that. It should be taken, it's so valuable. I have to treasure this service. Take it as though my life depends on doing this service. Then that is the greatest gift. And because Krishna appreciates any service offered by anyone, he's so merciful, he's so kind, he's so gracious. Otherwise, how could he take it? The friend of Krishna, the one who looks like an Uddhava. Uddhava, he was saying that Krishna is the most merciful because look at Putana. Putana was an evil witch, and she was trying to kill the babies and kill Krishna with poison, deception. And still, Krishna, he gave her position in the spiritual world like Mother Yashoda, similar, not exactly. So she got such a great opportunity. How is that? Because Krishna takes the bright side. Yeah, she was trying to act like my mother. So let her be mother in the spiritual world. Let her be a nurse. Nurse is also one of the 7 mothers. So these are a few points to consider about God, Krishna. He has got all these transcendental energies, should be astounded or amazed. And when he exhibits a little bit of them, like the Virat Rupa, and atheists, they become a little attracted. Sometimes he exhibits these forms to attract them. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.